things are on my mind. The decision sets in. One that will turn your skin. The love is right. Let them have their time. And I have this notion. Let's keep these wheels in motion. In motion. And it's worse you for what I did not know. Did you think I would let it go? Oh no. And in time, yes, I'll think it's absurd. But until then, you'll leave your words. Well, lay on. Lay on. Now it's time to defend your lies. The lies you've been feeding me all this time. And will you reoffend? Oh, darling. You say that you are innocent, but your ways, they seem irrelevant, but still play on. Now it's time to defend your lies. The lies you've been feeding me all this time. And will you reoffend? Oh, darling. Oh, you have reached your lover's end. No more. Will we make pretend like we something to fight for. Oh. We had nothing to fight for. We had nothing to fight for. We had nothing to fight for. We had nothing to fight for.
Good evening, race fans, and it's time for more ZFS Championship Season 6. We're on to round number 7 at one of my favourite tracks on the planet. It's a nightmare drive around, but it is great fun when you're chucking some old cars around. This is glorious Goodwood, and tonight they're in the pretty awesome Suzuki Swift GR4. In honour, of course, of the songstress herself. My daughter has, in the last couple of hours, arrived back from her concert in Scotland today. Very tired and very poor afterwards. It's going to be some great racing this evening. Absolutely. It's going to be a banger. So, Shake Your Booty. We'll have a look at the leaderboard in a minute. Shake Your Booty does lead that leaderboard quite significantly. At the moment, he's won pretty much every race so far. I think it's every race so far in the series. This is round number 7 at Goodwood. Not an easy racetrack to overtake. You're kind of relying on mistakes, really, more than anything else. I don't think there is a corner here where I'd say it is safe to make a big lunge up the inside, unless, of course, someone makes an error and then you can gain that way. It's going to be quite complicated. They've got 3 tyres available to them, the Racing Soft, Racing Medium, Racing Hard, but no specific tyre requirements. So it's down to the drivers today to decide their strategy. More than likely, you're going to see most rocking those soft compound tyres for a 2-stopper. I can't imagine a 1-stop on the mediums is very quick, or on the hards either. So yeah, I think you're looking at about 12 laps on the soft tyres. It's 33 laps around here today. 10 minutes qualifying as always, which will be up in about 3 minutes time. We'll go on board with the driver for qualifying, of course. But Goodwood, it's a very historic venue, famous for both motorcycle and cars, and it's about a couple of miles from Chichester, West Sussex, just on the south coast of this glorious green and pleasant land. It's on the estate of Goodwood House, which is absolutely massive and encircles the Chichester Airport, or Goodwood Airport. It won't be long before they call it Chichester London. They've done that with Luton and Stansted and City and all other sorts. And Southend, London Southend, it's a fucking hour and a half away. Ridiculous. This circuit dates back to 1948. But don't confuse it with the hill climb course. There is a hill climb course on the same site of Goodwood House. That was used way back in the mid-1930s. It used to be the perimeter track of an RAF airfield, which was constructed during World War II as a relief airfield. The first race meeting took place in 1948, organised by the Junior Car Club and sanctioned by the Duke of Richmond and Gordon. The winner of that was a guy called Pycroft in a Pycroft Jaguar, 2.6 litre Pycroft Jaguar, 66 mile an hour, 106 kilometres was his top speed. Sterling Moss won the 500cc race. 500cc is essentially Formula 3. And then you had Eric Brandon and Curly Dryden in Mini Coopers. Goodwood is the manor itself, and the grounds and the gardens is the venue for the Goodwood Festival of Speed annual hill climb event. That's held usually around towards the end of this month. I'm not sure what it is this year. End of this month, beginning of July, in the nearby grounds of that Goodwood House, of course. And that has a lot of historic motor vehicles, there's some modern day as well. Over 150,000 visitors every year go to that event, and you've got the Goodwood Revival, where you've got a lot of the really vintage cars that used to race around here, chucking it around this racetrack. Well, I say chucking it, not hugely quickly. They're old cars; they don't go as fast as you think. 2.5 miles, just under 2.5 miles, 3.8 kilometres, with 9 corners. They're all pretty quick. The slowest will be the chicane, that takes you at the end of the track to turns essentially 8 and 9. A couple of braking zones, but nothing significant. It's all about throttle control, and it's all about keeping it on the track. You get loose here, you're on the grass, and you will disappear into the sunset. There are parts of this racetrack where if you go wrong, you will disappear off into the cornfields in the middle, never to be found again until harvest time. As I said, I think it's going to be a 2-stop race. The host has just ended the game, so I'm assuming we have some form of lobby issue, which I'm sure they're going to fix as we speak, get a new one going. Unfortunately, there's a fabulous race next week. Next week is round 8. That is at the Broadbean Raceway in the Wicked FGT. I've been really looking forward to that, but I can't make it because it's my daughter's birthday. One of my daughters is going to be turning 16, and we're going out for some scran, nosh, food as a family. Is what it is. Can't be here. But I will eat and drink for all of you happy people. I'm a little bit concerned that my PlayStation... Oh no, it's not frozen up. It's just slow. So just having a look, seeing if the room is up. Lobby 3, I see. Lobby 1, there it is. Room not found. That's a bit concerning. Joining room, let's see. No, room not found. Clearly there is a little bit of an issue. Let me come out and come back in. I'm going to say, over the last couple of months, I'm becoming more and more disillusioned with PD and with Sony on the sheer... I'm trying to think of a word that's not impolite. The sheer fuckery of this game. Graphically it's great. The noises are great. There's some great cars there. But it just feels lacking. When you compare it to what GT Sport was like, particularly towards the end with all of the updates and everything else, and you look at what we've got here with Gran Turismo 7, it feels like there's something missing. And it's really, it upsets me a little bit because I expected more from this game. And you would expect that by this stage, I mean, we're coming on for a couple of years after release now, you would expect by this stage they would have at least reached the functionality of GT Sport. They've not even got that far yet. They've not got the functionality in the lobbies that GT Sport had. And we were kind of expecting, when this game was announced, that we were going to be expecting lobbies of 20 plus, 25, 26 cars, and you know, they dumbed it down for the PlayStation 4. Remember, the PlayStation 4 is 11 years old. It's not a game suited to an old console, and I think unless they do something drastic, and by drastic I mean take away the online functionality, even if it's just the online functionality for PlayStation 4, this game is going to die a massive death. I think the only saving grace for this game is that Forza Online is an absolute crash fest, and they have delayed the release of the new Assetto Corsa game to the end of the year. If that came out around now, as was expected, I think GT would have big problems. And also, I've heard they're working on GT8 already. So if they are working on GT8, they clearly do not give a shit about GT7. Anyway, that's my rant over. I had to fill in the time while I waited for the lobby to be reset. Just waiting for everyone to come in and we'll get cracking. Shall we have a look? We might as well. Let's have a look at predictions and the shizzle. That's the predictions for... sorry, that's not the predictions. That's the current standings for the season. Shake Your Booty with 6 wins from the first 6 rounds. Drop rounds starting to kick in at this stage. Season prediction is first. Not surprised really, he's on 129 points, maximum points, bar 1. We didn't get the fastest lap in round 2. That went to Gouda GT Bro, by the looks of things. Yeah, I think he did. So he's 1 point down where he should be. If he gets the full 26 points today, of course he will be on a full house of points. Down there, sitting second in the championship, 94 points already. A couple of wins, or at least a win also behind Shark. They're in third. Predictions. That's how the predictions look for today. Predicted for today. Again, call Shake Your Booty. You can't look beyond him. 6 from 6 so far. It would be foolish to look beyond Shake Your Booty for another win today. Shark there predicted second. JJ in third. Amsterdam with a fourth place prediction. Schmergen predicted fifth. Ridder's down there again, predicted quite low down the order, but I think Ridder's is a better driver than that prediction suggests. Edinburgh lad as well. I've seen him again in practice today, very, very quick. Qualifying times are going to be in and around the what's the number I'm looking for? I think we're looking at a sub 114 for pole, a sub 115, sorry, for pole position. But we will see what we will see. Right, here we go. Time for some qualifying. Let's get all the info up. That's what we need. Right, so I'm going to go on board with Shark for this qualifying because he's in a Taylor Swift Swiftie, and I'm surprised that he's the only one that is. Well, I'm assuming he's the only one that is. He is indeed. I do like this one. Another. He really, really likes Valentino Rossi, man. If he ever goes to Italy, someone warn Valentino because I think that he would touch him. Yeah, he's the only one that's rocking the Swifty Swiftness. So we're going to go on board with a Shark for this first hot lap, and you'll see why very soon. Yeah, you can see how twisted this circuit is, and just how you really have to have your car in the right position for every corner here to maximise your speed. Very, very fast corners. You're looking to maximise the speed in this Swift. You don't want to really be dropping down anything below third gear anywhere other than into the chicane. But here we go. Let it not be said that I am not in the slightest bit childish. There we go. That was especially for you, Shark. What have you got on the board? Put something on the board for me. What have we got? What have we got? What have we got? That is not pole position. It's a 1:15.3 though for Shark. Dan has already gone sub 1:15. We expected that was going to happen. Not necessarily from him, but from somebody. So sub 1:15 already on the board. Who is braving this with different tyres? There's the question. Everybody, I think because there's no mandatory tyres, I think everybody's just going to run the softs and go 2-stop. Personally, some might try and brave a 1-stop on them. It'll be a pretty cray thing to do. Did I just say cray? Oh my days. Right, so Edinburgh lad on pole. That's a great pole from him with 18.4. Dan also sub 15. That's your front row. Shark 15.3 for him. Shake Your Booty also with a 15.3. Just half a second separating those top four as it stands. 6/10 separating the top five. Vale with a 15.5. Zumez with a 15.5, also nothing, 1,000 separate him and Vale. with JJ just 6/100ths slower in 7th with a 15.5 to his name. Also, there's Ridders with a 16.0, 1.2 separating those top 8. DJ 17.1, Stu Shelton with a 17.3. Then we've got Jax, he's got that one 17.7, and Vescu with a 22.2. I know he's gone faster than that already. Shark Stills Polish has done that lap with a dun 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 with a 1:14.7 for him. That's going to do his championship hopes the whole world of good. He needs to get a couple of top 2 finishes if he really wants to start with. Essentially, I think his battle is his battle's with Dan. And I'm not to put anybody down here, but I think Shake Your Booty has already won 6 from 6. It's very difficult to look beyond him for this championship, to anyone really for this championship, unless of course he's not turning up for a few more races. But there is no suggestion that's going to happen. And that Shark already up on his current pole position time. 77/100ths of a second ahead. Through the chicane he comes. Has he improved on that? It's a 1:14.767. He crosses the line. It's a 14.857. Couldn't improve. Edinburgh Lad doesn't improve this time. 14.8 for him, 15.3 on that last lap. Dan still ahead of Shake Your Booty, still sub 15 for him. Shake Your Booty not quite there yet, 15.0 for him, but we know that his race pace is something you really need to watch out for. Ridders jumping up into that top 5 with a 15.2, picking up a little bit of slip. You do get some slipstream around here, particularly on those, although they're not perfectly straight, but the flat out bits. But the problem is, of course, is there's no real opportunity to use that then and get an overtake from it. Ridder's doing all right. Top 5, Dane. Top 5. He's doing all right at the moment. Vale there in 6th. He's a couple of tenths down from Ridders. Hasn't broke that 15.5 yet. So what have we got? We've got top 3, sub 15. We've got 4th and 5th. There's sub 15.5. Vale is 15.5. Zumez is 15.5. JJ is 15.5. Vescu 15.8. Has he got anything else in the tank as he crosses that line? He is half a second up on his current time. That'll put him as a 15.3, and that'll put him firmly inside that top 5. DJ in the pits, he's quite happy with his time thus far. 1.4 seconds off the pace. Stu Shelton still chucking times in. 16.1, he improves. He goes better. A lot of traffic coming out of the pits, which he just avoids. And they're coming out for their last little blast around to try and improve their lap time. Bringing up the rear at the moment with a 1:17.7. He hasn't put many laps in yet. A 34.8, and then he went into the pits. He clearly picked up some damage, so he's got a bit of work to do. Has Jax to put a time on the board? Currently 3 seconds off the pace. 1.6 behind DJ in 11th. Edinburgh Lad with that 14.7. Has improved his previous time. He is closely followed by Shark, who's also on a 14.7, just 3500ths separating them. Dan within touching distance, that 14.9 he got on his first hot lap. Not been able to recreate that since. And it seems to be that sometimes if you put that blistering lap in as your first lap, it's very difficult to ramp that up. Talking to a number of drivers over the weekend with the 6 hours at Watkins Glen, and a couple of drivers came in, and there seems to be 2 distinct styles. Is some go out and they are looking for that super hot lap off the bat, bang, 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 and they're prepared to take the risk of the occasional spin, the occasionally getting it wrong to get that super hot lap. Well, you've got others that like to kind of ramp it up and build into it. So find a lap that they're comfortable with, maybe a second off the pace, 1.5 seconds off the pace, and then trying to edge that down until they find a pace that they find infinitely repeatable, but obviously super quick. And then when you find that pace is infinitely repeatable, then you go for that one big Hail Mary lap towards the end of qualifying. And we've seen it at times that pole position can change on that very last lap. In fact, we saw it here last week at Tokyo. What is it here? It's Tokyo. Shake Your Booty, still not sub 115. Have we found a track that Shake Your Booty does not excel at? Or is he playing a little bit of a game? And by that I mean he knows he can go 15 dead. Is he prepared to just stick at that? Is he pushing it that little bit too hard? As Dan, well, I was thinking we'd go sub 15, and then Amsterdam does that, a 1:14.4 to firmly grab pole position with just 30 seconds left on the clock. Edinburgh Lad, has he got a response to that? He's on an outlap. Has he got enough time? It looks like he's just close enough. I've noticed, I don't know if you see those numbers on the screen, there is a bug today. I've noticed it in a few lobbies today. I'm assuming it's a 1:23.6. But those numbers before it, I don't know where they're coming from, but they've been around in a few lobbies today. So Edinburgh Lad on his last fast lap just crept in. If you haven't passed the line now, you are done. So Shark, can he improve? 1:14.7 was his fastest lap. He currently sits on row 2, has Jax for company. He rounds these final few corners. Is there anything left for him in terms of pace? It doesn't look like he's actually quicker this time out. That's the 12, that's the 13, that's the 14, that's not quicker, that's a 15.0. He will stay third on the grid. Jax also stays where he is in fourth. Edinburgh Lab, we know, is one final lap to his name. Dan's done. Who else? Anyone else on the final lap? There is Jax on a final lap there. He's not far off it. Shake Your Booty. I said he's on a final lap, but he's facing in the wrong direction. Did he compromise anyone when that happened? It looks like he's okay now. A couple of cars coming through at pace. So Edinburgh Lad on this final lap, heading down to the final chicane. Is there anything left for him here? Is pole position within his grasp? He heads to the line, foot flat to the floor. That's a 1:14.8, and he does not find the pace to move Dan off the top of the tree. Dan is your pole sitter today. Shake Your Booty, knocked down to row 3. That's your championship leader, qualifying on row 3, behind the guy in second and the guy in third in the championship. Shark qualifying on row 2 with Jax. It's Shake Your Booty with Ridders on row 3. JJ and Val on row 4. Vescu with the Portuguese Zumes. They're on row 5. Row 6 is Stu Shelton with DJ, who did find a bit more time. 1.5 seconds is all that separates that blistering 14.4 on the nose and the 1:15.9 that DJ did. Just to put that into perspective, I did some laps, although to be fair, to my credit, I didn't use my wheel. I used the steering wheel and had it on automatic controls because I couldn't be bothered to set my wheel up, right? But I didn't get under a 120. No, I didn't. I got 119 something. But everyone knows that I'm absolutely rubbish. So there we have it. That's your final grid for this round at number 7 here at Goodwood. It is Dan on pole with Edinburgh Lad. They're both going to start. Well, in fact, everyone's starting on the softs, so it's irrelevant. Shark and Jax. It's Shake, Shake, Shake Your Booty. He's there with Ridders. JJ Vale, who is Valentino Rossi's stalker. Vescu, Zumez, Stu Shelton, and DJ. Back there in 12th position. So qualifying done. We have 33 laps around this 2.5 mile circuit. It's going to be fast. It's going to be frantic. There will be cars hitting the chicane without question. I don't care how quick you are, how good you are. Every race here at Goodwood, somebody hits that chicane. So there will be damage to cars. How well you can manage that, how quickly you can get that repaired, or how easily you can miss getting involved in that damage really will dictate how it goes. Right, let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. We are almost ready to go. 5 lights, and we are away. And it's a great start all round, actually. Nobody gets bogged down on the line. I know we normally look from behind, but there's no real turn one incident to have, unless anyone, of course, goes wide. That's the thing we're looking for. Anyone wide there, everyone looks to be on the racetrack. Let's go back to somewhere like 9th place and have a little looky-see forward. What's going on ahead? Look at this. You can always see Vestige already just dropping off the back of these guys. Look how close they are. 1.7 seconds. That's all it is, though. It looks like they're so much closer. But anyone gets something slightly wrong here and clips another car, this could be a pile-up of epic proportions. This could be the sort of pile-up that Katie Price has been praying for. Not that there's many people left to add to that pile. This is lap 1 of 33 here at glorious Goodwood in these Suzuki Swift GR4s. Great little cars, really fun to drive, but do not like your front tyre wear in the slightest. Into the chicane for the first time, nobody clipping it. On the way at the back, nobody clips it there. Everyone through nice and safely. Let's have the rundown from first to last then. Out in the lead is Amsterdam. He was your pole sitter, staying where he earned his place. Edinburgh lad, he's there in second, but he's got Shark putting significant pressure on him already. Shark's got pressure himself from Jax. That is, who was that just making a move there? Someone was making a move. It was a yellow car. There's so much going on. Shake Your Booty is up to 5th position. I think we're going to have to go like this because there's so much going on at the moment. Shake Your Booty having a little look. So much quicker through that section. Under braking makes no overtake. There's not really anywhere to make an overtake, but Shake Your Booty is the exception to the rule here. That was super quick. Up into 5th. And now that's JJ trying to make the same move on Jax, tucking in behind. Can he put him under some pressure? If you stay within the rear wing of that car ahead, round the outside, having a little look. Is he going for the switcheroo? There's no gap. Down to the chicane for the end of lap 2. Anyone clipping this? Someone clips the wall here while they're this tight. It could be spin central. Getting very brave on the exit there. That grass can very easily send you off into oblivion. JJ there in 6th place. He is looking to try and make a move on Jax, all over the back of him at the moment. That's allowing Vale to get involved. Ridder's involved there. Ridder's dropping down to 8th. He's got Vescu just behind him. This is a battle essentially. Let's find the back of this battle. So Stu Shelton just a little bit off the pace at the moment, but no doubt in my mind he will catch that back up. So there's DJ there. He's 6/10 behind Zumez, and that essentially is the battle for 4th place. You've got Zumez there. You've got Vescu within a second. Ridders within a second. Vale within half a second. Little battle up ahead. Couple of moves there on Jax. Jax getting it a little bit wrong, and that allowed a couple of cars through. And I said it's going to be all about mistakes here, and we can see it here. Vale comes in, gets on the brakes, gets it a little bit wrong on that grass, and through. 2 cars do go, and Jax losing a couple of positions there to Ridders and Vale. There is Ridders and Vale side by side. Ridders ahead of Vescu. Jax getting ahead of Ridders, Vescu still there behind. That's Vale there. He is all over the back of JJ. Half a second separates them. Then it's 1 second to Shake Your Booty. He's up into that top 4. How close is he to putting Shark under any pressure? Well, you can see there's a bit of a gap. 0.8 of a second. Shark sticking with Edinburgh lad. But up ahead, Dan starting now just to edge away. Now this is absolutely ideal for him. He wants to break that toe. He has done. 1.6 seconds ahead of Edinburgh lad is Dan at the moment, and that just allows for a little bit of breathing room. You've got Edinburgh lad with some pressure from behind. He's got Shark behind him. He's got Shake Your Booty behind him. They're going to keep that pressure on the back of Edinburgh lad, and they do not want to let Dan escape. Dan is going to use Edinburgh lad as a buffer for as long as he possibly can and try and gain as much distance between himself and his 2 championship rivals. As it stands, Shake Your Booty is in the ideal position for Dan because Him and Shark are fighting for second. Shake Your Booty is ahead of him in first in the championship. So absolutely perfect position at the moment for him. Or he's down in third in the championship. I can't remember. Could just bring it up and have a look, couldn't I? One. It's that one. No, that is second in the championship. I was right. I do remember these things. Now, the thing is, because they're getting held up here, here's JJ now. He's getting involved. He's pulled away from Vale and made this battle in the top 5, or basically what is the battle for second, between 4 cars now. Edinburgh Lad, Shark, Shake Your Booty, and JJ. Vale is 1.2 seconds off the pace there, but he's got Ridders for company. They've got their own little battle going on now. Ridders versus Vale for 6th position. Vale will want to eagerly latch on to the back of JJ's Suzuki, just to give him that little bit of help. At the moment, he is giving Ridders quite a bit of toe, punching a hole through the air with that little Swift for him, giving him something to aim his car into, giving him that little bit of an advantage over him in a straight line. Behind Ridders, we've got Vescu. Vescu's got Zumes for company. They've got their little battles. You can see now in the midfield just starting to find their little fights. It's a Vescu and Zumes. 2.3 seconds back to DJ, who's got Jax for company. Jax with him. That's their little battle going on. And Stu Shelton, not having a great day. He's already 3 seconds back, but he's got some damage on that car, which doesn't help pick that up on that last lap, which has just dropped him off the pace at the back there. Dan holding firm, 1.7 seconds. And Edinburgh Lad now just starting to edge away from Shark, giving himself a little bit of a breather. No longer is he giving Shark a toe advantage. He's now got an opportunity to try and get after Dan. He's already taken 2/10 out of him on this lap alone. Shark cannot shake your booty. See what I did there? And he cannot shake JJ. He can't shake Vale. Well, yes, he can. He's shaking him already. He is there. Right, let's have a look on board. This is what it looks like on board with JJ. And you can see just how close these cars are racing, how treacherous it could be if it goes wrong. It must be absolutely so scary going through there at full pelt with cars all around you. You kind of just want to shut your eyes as you go through, but you can't, because you will definitely die. JJ there closing now on the back of the championship leader, who's sticking with Shark there in third. The longer they battle, the longer it allows those out in front, Dan and Edinburgh Lad, to just edge away. Talking of Edinburgh, that's where my daughter was to watch Swifty this weekend. Just got back a couple of hours ago. And she remarked of Edinburgh Lad that it is a remarkable city. A beautiful, beautiful place. Although that could be because it was covered in glitter all weekend. I don't know if it's usually like that. I assume it's not. I haven't been to Edinburgh for a very, very long time, and I was incredibly drunk the entire time. Right, Vale there. Still got Ridders for company. That's a battle still raging on. Let's stay on board for some of these battles. Having a look back. Nice gap back. That's 1.6 seconds. Ridders can focus on the back of that Valentino Rossi homage. Just up ahead of him. That's a mistake from Vale. He's only rescued by the fact that chicane doesn't allow Ridders through. If there had been anywhere else on the racetrack, Ridders would have been able to sneak on past there, but he has got the run on him coming through turn 1. And of course, Vale with dirty tyres. Can he keep the grip and get his tyres back up to working temperature? We're starting to hit the pit window very shortly. Remember, 2-stop race if you're using these soft compound tyres, unless you are mental or incredibly skilled. So we are looking, I think, whether they do 11, or do they just do you push it 12 laps, 11 laps, and then have a good run at 10 at the end with some fast tyres. That would be the kind of option I would go for, is try and go long as you can in your first stint, and then have 2 shorter second and third stints, and don't worry too much about the fuel at this stage. That's Vescu. He can see the battle up ahead, but the battle for him is in his mirrors. That is Zumez just behind him, 0.8 of a second. Jax got a little bit of a breather from DJ. Now 1.4 seconds is that gap, with Stu Shelton 31 seconds back. What went wrong for him? It must have gone wrong on this lap because... sorry, there it is. Yeah, very wrong. He went into the pits. So he pit very early, did Stu Shelton, for some fresh, soft rubber. That was obviously to get rid of some damage. Probably didn't want to pit quite as early as he did, though. So the lead is cut. Edinburgh Lads starting to eke into that advantage that Dan had. The advantage was 1.6 seconds. He's cut that down to just about 1.1, 1.2 seconds for Edinburgh Lad. Shark there 2 seconds off the pace. He's still got JJ. He's still got Shake Your Booty. Absolutely vying for that third place. But as I said, so difficult to overtake. Dan with the fastest lap of the race with a 1:14.5. But everyone around him is putting in very similar lap times. Now you would expect, as these front tyres, and it is the front tyres that go, you could leave those back tyres on for probably the entire race and not see much more wear than you've got now. But that front left just gets absolutely punished around this racetrack. That is where you're putting all the load on the car. Front wheel drive, of course, these Suzuki Swifts. So everything going through that front left tyre. And you can see just by the graphic there. Actually, look at that. Edinburgh Lad's done a really good job looking after that tyre. He can stretch this stint out. Now, here, this is interesting because he's closing on Dan, but his tyre's looking better than everybody's. There's some out there that I'm really worried about. But yeah, we scroll through this field. Vesti's not doing too badly either. Zumez bad. Everyone's really struggling on those tyres. I'm not going to look at Stu Shelton. He's got fresh ones on. But I have to say, Edinburgh Lad looking pretty good with those tyres. Now, who else is going to blink? Because if you're going to equally to stop it, big mistake from Dan. Big mistake from Dan, and that gives Edinburgh Lad the lead of this race. And he's coming up behind, I believe that's Stu Shelton. I know we're on board with Vance today now. Let's have a little look at what went wrong with Dan as he heads down. We'll go into the chase cam here and we'll see just where he got it wrong. Does he get himself on the grass in the brake zone? No, just a little bit too late on the brakes, not enough rotation. And he just can't get that car turned, and that'll be a tyres issue, of course, because the less rubber you've got on it, the more pressure you're putting on that tyre, and the more you're asking of it. So he's down to 10th because he went into the pits at the end of that, which kind of makes sense. But Edinburgh Lad getting the lead of this race, getting it very, very significantly, 3.7 seconds clear, 3.8 seconds clear of Shark, and still some life left in those tyres. He can, if he so wishes, stretch this out to lap 13. If he does that, 2 stints of 10, he doesn't have to look after the tyres quite as much. He can put a little bit more through if he needs to. It could be first win of the season for Edinburgh Lad. In fact, I think it'll be a first podium of the season for Edinburgh Lad, and that'll be a big hunker points for him. Shark still under pressure, but it's only Shake Your Booty now putting that pressure on. That's Edinburgh Lad into the pits. I think he's got in earlier than he needed to. Who's staying out? They're not. He's not. Vale is staying out. So Vale into the lead. He is going for the approach of giving himself better time at the end. And I think that's got to be, if you can do it, that's got to be the best option. Dan's in a bit of a pickle. He had to go in early. He got it all kinds of wrong. So he went in a lap earlier than I think he would have liked to. So just those two out, and of course Stu Shelton and Ridders who pit earlier. So Ridders out in 6th position. Right, so now everybody's been in the pits other than Vale. Dan back in the lead of this race. The undercut clearly worked for him. He went in at the end of lap 10. A lap earlier than the optimum expectation, I suppose, for this particular setup. End of lap 10 for Amsterdam. He is 5.2 ahead of Edinburgh Lad. But crucially, Ladd has put in significantly more fuel. Now, at the moment, you might think, well, you know, he's going to be heavier. It's not going to be great for him. He's going to be a bit slower. But it does put him in for a unique position. I mean, number one, his tyres are always going to be a lap fresher as Vale goes in at the end of lap 12. His tyres are always going to be 1 lap fresher than those of Dan up ahead. But also, he's going to spend less time in the pits at the next stop than Dan will. Dan into the lead, of course, because Vale is on his first pit stop. But Edinburgh Lads, there he is, comes across the line. He's in second, 5.1 seconds behind Dan. Shake Your Booty for the first time in this race into the top 3. Not surprised to see him in the top 3. He has won every race so far this season. There is Shark in the Taylor Swifty. Just 1 second behind Shake Your Booty. My daughter just stuck her head around the door because she literally just got back from Edinburgh Lads home, watching the blonde-haired weirdo shouting at people. Shark is at the top 4. They're 2.8 seconds clear of Ridders there. Ridders has Zumez for company, Zumezing behind him. There's a bit of a gap to JJ. JJ's dropped right down that order. Now, we have lost Stu Shelton from this room now. He was significantly last. Call me cynical, but you don't often see people have quite those disconnection problems when they're not last. That's all I'm going to say. I think my feelings on rage quitting are pretty freaking clear. I think it's a shitty thing to do, and I think it shows a sign of it's a weak-willed shitty thing to do. That's all I'm going to say. Somebody's got to be last, and sometimes it's going to be you. It's just the way it is. 1.3 seconds is the gap to 1.5 in fact to JJ behind the Portuguese driver. He's got a little bit of gap either side. There's Val there back in 8th. He's dropped down that order as well. Thought he was going to be bringing some pain. Vescu running at 9th. Jax is in at 10th and 11th, and now at the back of the pack, but not by choice. That's DJ running there in 11th. So Dan's had to go in a lap early. He's had the fastest lap. He got it all kinds of wrong at the very end of lap 10, and went in a lap earlier than planned. His tyres just weren't giving him what he needed, and he made that mistake coming up to the chicane. That allowed Edinburgh Lad to take the lead, although Dan straight into the pits. He is now going to have to one of these next 2 stints, either this one or the next one, is going to have to be a 12 lap stint in order to make up for going in a lap earlier than planned last time out. It's certainly doable. We've seen cars go 12 laps without changing the tyres, but you'd want to do that earlier on in the race. You don't want to do that when you're being chased. Now, he's still going to need to plonk a little bit of fuel in, maybe. He won't have to put a lot in. He's doing quite well with fuel. We're almost halfway through the race, and he's just over half a tank of fuel in there. So he won't have to put a lot in. But, crucially, Edinburgh Lad behind him won't have to put any in at all. He did all of his fueling at that last stop. And as he starts to burn it off, he will get quicker. And you can see there, his last lap was a 1:14.6. So he is responding to the 14.6 that Dan did up ahead of him. But bear in mind, his tyres are a lap fresher. Shark struggling to keep up with that pace out front. He just did a 1:14.8. But the gap to those front 2 now, 5.1 seconds. He has, however, shaken off Your Booty, who hasn't been able to shake off this battle here. That is JJ back there in 7th. He's just behind Zumez, who's just on the back of Ridders, and ahead of Ridders is the championship leader, Shake Your Booty, the Greek driver who has demonstrated all season that he's the one to beat. But let's face it, we've seen him at this stage of a race back in 4th, back in 5th place, and absolutely still fighting his way to the front and taking the win. That's Zumez making the move around Ridders, makes it look very, very easy as well. Can he hold on to it? We'll have a little look here as he goes through. You can see he just gets a much better run around this right-hander, and is able just to make the little move, have a little look. The gap was there on the inside. He had the pace, makes that move, and he's up into a new position, up to 5th place ahead of Ridders. Usually I'll talk about how Ridders raced the day before, but Ridders didn't race yesterday because the race was called off, unfortunately. We probably just well because there's only like 7 people signed into it. Anyway, he is still very much in this. JJ, of course, is still in it as well. He's only half a second behind that battle raging. And that is the battle for 4th place, headed up by the championship leader, Shake Your Booty. Ridders is ahead of Zumez again. He's found his way back around him, up into 5th. He's putting pressure on Shake Your Booty. There's a gap. He pulls out into the gap. Shake Your Booty's having none of it. Round the outside, pulls back in. Was there some contact there that made that difficult to do? We'll have a little look on board here, and you can see he's got a great run on Shake Your Booty. The gap's there. He throws it up the inside, but has to back off because he was just going far too quickly. And it's gone very wrong for him because it looks like he's had to succumb to some other pressure now. He did manage to hold off the pressure from... who was it that came through? I think it was, it was JJ, because JJ's through now. So JJ's found a way through. JJ up to 5th. So Shake Your Booty at the moment, he's not finding it easy catching up with the top 3. And... I mean, let's face it, he can afford to lose a race or 2, can't he? But the guys behind have got so much battling on and going on between themselves that it's not putting enough pressure on him to maybe force an error or maybe find a way through. And he's just managed to edge ahead. JJ, big gap over Zumez now, as that's Ridders into the pits. Significant damage. Did he clip the chicane on the way through? Yes, he did, and then he got caught from behind. Absolutely nothing you can do about it. I told you someone hit the chicane eventually, and yeah, there it is. So Ridders out of that battle with damage from the chicane, and he's parked up for a long time. There's a lot of work going on there. So Dan still leads. The gap is now 9.2 seconds. So Edinburgh Lad. What went wrong with him? He's picked up some damage as well as Edinburgh Lad. Was that in the chicane? It certainly looks like it. Whenever you see damage on that left front, you can pretty much guarantee that was picked up going through the final chicane here at Goodwood. It's the part of the racetrack that is the most treacherous, and it's that huge change of direction. You really have to cut the first part of that chicane really tight so you can get that rotation back to the left, to avoid going out to the right hand side and onto the grass, or oversteering into the wall on the way through. Very, very treacherous. So that's given Dan a massive advantage. 9.9 seconds as we creep towards the second pit window here at Goodwood. If you're just joining us, round 7 of the ZFS Championship. Hello to Max Q. Hello to Dane, of course, who are joining us. Shark there in 3rd. He's 1.1 seconds back. He's still got that advantage over Shake Your Booty. I mean, that's the key at the moment. Is in order for anything to change in this championship top 3, Dan and Shark both have to score more points than Shake Your Booty. They admittedly they need to score a lot more points than Shake Your Booty, but every single point is what counts. Now, with Dan being in 2nd in the championship, Shake Your Booty being 4th, and he's 2 places ahead of Shark, it's a big advantage for him, and it just makes that gap between him and Shark in 3rd that little bit less easy to close up. Don't count out JJ yet. He's still on the back of Shake Your Booty, and as good as he is, everybody has a mistake in them, and if JJ is there and he can pounce at the right time, you will see that Turbo Tech Swift just edging past him. Let's go aboard with with JJ as we see this chase down, actually, because we can see up ahead the very different lines that Shake Your Booty takes compared to a lot of the drivers. You can see there, he's slow through a couple of these corners. JJ much quicker, but because it's such a difficult racetrack to overtake, and of course the cars are identical in terms of performance, it is purely and simply down to driver performance, driver track knowledge, how you look after your tyres, where you choose, what lines you choose around the racetrack. And at the moment, JJ can only sort of fit into Shake Your Booty's boot. So he's in his Shake Your Booty. Can't find a way through. Right, through the chicane they go. Avoid the wall at all costs. Don't hit the right hand side. Don't hit that left hand side. And I'll tell you what, Shake Your Booty is much, much braver than anybody else coming out through this chicane. We watch anyone through this chicane. Nobody takes as much grass as he does. I'm trying to find someone that hasn't been through it. Look, there's Jax coming through. You see, he keeps half the car on the track. Shake Your Booty is all the way across. We'll watch him next time he does it, actually. Because it's interesting to see the line that he takes. That's JJ through. JJ makes the move and gets it done on Shake Your Booty. So we can watch this now and still probably catch up with watching his line all the way through. So yeah, so as I said, 2 different lines through there. This time Jack's carrying that speed, that overspeed from that little bit of slipstream he gets, and that allows him to get that move done and up into 4th. Now the question is, can he pull away from Shake Your Booty now? So I said we were going to go on board with him and watch how he takes this, how much of the grass. Oh, and a mistake from JJ, and that's Shake Your Booty back up. That's Vale through as well as Edinburgh Lad goes into the pits. Shake Your Booty staying very, very well. You see, he goes right over onto the grass there. So interesting turn of events for, and I think we can just catch it. There it is, up ahead onto the grass. All kinds of wrong. We'll have another look, shall we? Just goes to show how easy it is for things to go terribly, terribly wrong. And we're hang on, we need to go back to that. There we go. So we want to stay with him here, and see, just, look, you see there, just didn't brake quite enough, didn't get the rotation, got on the grass, and as soon as you get on there, there's nothing you can do. You can't rescue that. JJ down into 6th now. So all change. Edinburgh Lad had his second pit stop. He is going for the simple. Well, he actually went at the end of lap 21. So he is going for a 12 lap run to the line. Lap earlier there. He's hoping to go for the undercut. He saw the undercut worked for Dan last time. Dan's managed to get himself back on track with a pit on lap 22. Shark, does he come in? Shark, I thought for a second then, I thought he was going to stay out. Vale, I think he's going to stay out. He stayed out last time. Will he do the same again? Yes, he does. Vale stays out. Shake Your Booty in. JJ in. Zumez in. Vescu. He might stay out, or will he do 11, 11, 11? We'll soon see. Now remember, Edinburgh Lads didn't need to put any fuel on board. Dan needed a little smattering. Now this is interesting because Edinburgh Lad is back there in 9th. Did he make a mistake coming through the chicane? We know he made a mistake earlier on. He is 23 seconds behind Vale. Dan is 7 seconds behind. So actually, the undercut, far from working, actually played against him. He's even further back than he was when they pit. So it seems that Dan got the benefit of the overcut and the undercut, and it hasn't worked the other way around. Van, of course, still needs to stop. He's 7 seconds clear, but he does still need to stop one more time on those soft compound tyres. Dan is 15 seconds now clear of Shark, and you've got to say, 15-second lead over a 1 minute 15 lap. Not only shows it, and there's a mistake from Shark, and that allows Edinburgh Lad through into 3rd. So Shark getting it wrong again. You can just see it's how easy it is to make a mistake here at Goodwood. It makes me feel better about the amount of times I crash now. You can see here, we see where it happened. just to get on that grass and just get on your power there. And that's why when I see Shake Your Booty going on to putting all four wheels onto the grass on the way out of the chicane, I'm fully expecting to see him spin off into the wall, because that's how easy it happens. A couple of wheels just touch that blade of grass and off you pop, my son. So Shark now 24 seconds off the lead. Of course, Val still needs to pit. That's Dan off the road. That 15 seconds is going to be a lot smaller. He was on a part of the racetrack probably not suited for racing, although it didn't seem that he lost much time there at all. So Vale will pit at the end of this lap, just coming around now. Dan currently almost 15 seconds clear ahead of Edinburgh Lab. Let's do the full rundown. Let's have a look from the back of the grid. So we've lost Stu Shelton to a disconnection. 11.7 seconds is the gap between DJ there in 11th place and Jax in 10th. 6.8 to Ridders. Looked to be running well early on, but just dropping out of that midfield. 6.1 behind Vescu. Shake Your Booty, championship leader, down into 7th. It's about damage limitation for him now. He's got to try and gain a few places, and just the rest that the gains that Dan and Shark are making on him in the championship race. He is Shark's into the pits. Did Shark pick up some damage then? He did pick up damage. So Shark's in to repair some damage. So he's not making any gains on Shake Your Booty. In fact, he's down, coming out in 8th place. 1.6 behind Vescu's, who's got some work to do back there. Shake Your Booty 1.5 behind Zumez in 5th. He'll be eyeing that position up next. And then just ahead of him, of course, there's the battle for 4th with Vale leading that charge, with JJ just ahead of him in 3rd. Their distance behind there, they're way off those front two now. It is a 2-horse race to the end of this 33-lap run around glorious Goodwood. You've got to say, JJ's been really solid up there. He's been pretty consistent, a couple of little errors, but he's kept in that mix. He's kept ahead of Shake Your Booty. Shark making a big mistake. Edinburgh Lads made a mistake. Dan himself made a mistake, but was able to recover very quickly and put himself in a very unique position now. So let's have a look from Zumez's perspective as they come through the chicane. Now, not too far behind, of course. If we have a little looky-see, you can see that is Shake Your Booty's 1.6 seconds back. So Zumez will really, if anything, want to try and get past Vale. He knows that if Shake Your Booty gets past him, he's going to be that buffer that goes off after the cars ahead. He would want to get a move or two done before Shake Your Booty, if he does, of course, before Shake Your Booty catches them and starts to make the moves through. He can use those other drivers as a cushion, but all of those three there are in the same position. They don't want to be the one that Shake is chasing down. Certainly not. Although it is fun. I'm sure it's fun in F1 watching Lewis Hamilton behind you, because he's a massive tit. I'm not suggesting Shake Your Booty's a tit. Just Lewis Hamilton. He's a massive tit. Okay, race leader is 16.3 seconds clear. Fastest lap of the race with 14.3. Stop showing off. Edinburgh Lad. He was solid in practice, solid in qualifying, and just not been able to stick with Dan. And I wonder whether it was that additional fuel early on, because he's got far too much on board now. He didn't need to put any fuel in that second stop, really, but he has opted to, which is odd. He really could have gone to the end. In fact, I think most of them have got quite a lot of fuel on board, considering. JJ there running in 3rd. He's relatively comfortable at the moment, although there is that battle just behind him, Vale and Zumez, going on with Shake Your Booty, trying to get involved with it at some stage. We can still see Zumez try and find a way around Valentino Rossi's lover, Mr. Lova. Hey. Cannot find the way through, though. Cannot find that gap. We've seen today how many drivers have been looking for a gap and just not been able to find it here at Goodwood. It's one of those racetracks where you are relying on errors rather than necessarily a gap. Occasionally there's going to be one, but it's not very often we see it, and certainly not very often we see a move pulled off successfully. So Zumez is in 5th position. Shake Your Booty there in 6th. He's comfortable. He's not going to get caught by Vescu, not at this stage. Just 6 laps remain of this 33 lap race here in sunny Chichester, England. He's 3.2 now off the back of Zumez. So I think actually he's dropped off the pace significantly. We know that he's got the pace. He's done a 40. He's done a sub 15 with a 14.6, but he's not finding his usual consistency here at Goodwood, and it just goes to show that's where the difference is. And we talk on a regular basis about how consistency is important, and you can see there that Dan very consistent for the most part with in those mid to low 14s, which he's put in the last few laps, but across the board he's in that kind of ballpark every lap. You get a look at 14.81, 14.83, and that's why he's 17 seconds clear. Edinburgh Lad's consistent, but he's consistent almost half a second a lap slower at the moment. But again, that consistency is why he's ahead. JJ, not quite so much consistency, but still enough to keep him ahead of Vale. Vale been very consistent last few laps, but again, you've got to be consistent, but you've got to have that little bit more boost, a little bit more speed than that car ahead of you. Zumez there. He's a Zumezing behind those two. Shake Your Booty has closed that gap a bit, but not enough in my view, because this is lap 29 of 33. Battle for the top 10. Shark. We saw what happened to Shark. It went very, very wrong. He went from hero to zero very quickly, and it's so easy to do here at Goodwood. Was for me challenging for a top 3 spot and potentially in that top 2, but as soon as it goes wrong, that's it. Done and dusted. Excuse me, done and dusted. He's back in 10th, 3 seconds off the back of DJ. He is pootling around in those 116s. Whereas DJ's at similar times, but not enough time to catch that prolific gap. Ridders is all the way at the back of the pack. He has had to pit again, so he couldn't make the tyres last, and that has put Ridders into a plumb last, 9.2 seconds off the pace. Again, Ridders underperforming in these in ZFS, gotta say. Expect more of the boy. Step it up, boy. Step it up, Ridders. There's your race leader. 18 seconds clear now. Edinburgh Lad just behind him. This is lap 30 of 33. Coming up for the rest of the season, next week is another awesome race. They're at the Broadbean Raceway in the Wicked FGT, but unfortunately that race will not be live, as I will be having some din-dins for my daughter's 16th birthday. Round 9 is at Le Mans in the Audi R18 2016 Group 1 car. 11 laps of Le Mans in that. Love that racetrack. That's going to be a really, really cool race. All 3 tyre compounds required for that as well. So, and a very, very high tyre wear. 11. Almost as bad as it was at the Red Bull, at Road Atlanta in the Red Bull Junior. Round 10, of course, final round, will be at Kyoto Yamagiwa, 25 laps there, and that will be in a ZFS Group 3 inventory car to ride out the end of this, what's been a fantastic season, this ZFS Championship. Absolutely awesome. But there's your race leader. Just a couple of laps left to go for him before he is crowned the winner. This will be his first win of this season. He's been on the podium before, but never, in fact nobody has been on the top step except Shake Your Booty. So by all things that are holy, a 6th in a championship of this standard would usually be a good result, but for Shake Your Booty, it's not quite good enough. Edinburgh Lad there in 2nd. He's had a great race, couple of mistakes have cost him, but he's thereabouts. He's going to get some good points there in 2nd and thoroughly deserved. 7.5 to JJ. Although he's under significant pressure from Vale now as we go into the last knockings of this race. Shake Your Booty 4.8 back. Shake Your Booty has dispatched Zumez, but being held up behind Zumez for so long, these two duking it out on this penultimate lap, side by side. No guts, no glory. Put those nuts on the table and let's see how big they are, and that is what they are doing. It's that point of the race where it's worth sticking it up the inside and just having a little go, and it looks like it's going to pay off for Vale as he makes the move on JJ up into 3rd as they come up to the end of the penultimate lap. That's a really solid time to make that move. JJ, if he wants to regain 3rd place, he has to get right up on the back of Vale's car. But there is your leader on the final lap. Just a couple of seconds between him and the race win. It's ZFS Amsterdam. And it took 7 races. It took the Suzuki Swift here at Goodwood for Dan to finally get a win this season. 2nd in the championship. Massive points gain on the leader. Absolutely needed it. There's still a long way to go if he wants to steal this championship away. He's going to need more finishes like this. But as it stands, just one more braking zone, one or 2 big braking zones between him and the win. Dan rounds that corner, heads towards the chicane for the final time. Gets it through that chicane, out nice and cleanly, past that pit entry, and it is Amsterdam in the Suzuki Swift, takes the win here, 19 seconds clear of Edinburgh Lad, who thoroughly deserves a podium, although I feel that he did such a good job, he'll be gutted he didn't take the win here, but across the line for the 2nd step of the podium, that's Edinburgh Lad. Vale with that phenomenal overtake on that last lap, stealing 3rd from JJ's cold dead hands. JJ will be disappointed with 4th. He was in 3rd, but runs out of fuel in that battle. Couldn't have held him off anyway, but does stay ahead of Shake Your Booty, who crosses the line in 5th position. Zumez in the end comes in 6th with Vescu almost getting through. Jack's coming home through that chicane. He's home in 8th position. Shark gains another place, but it all went absolutely tits up for Shark this race. Started so well, continued well, and then one little error. He got in one little fight and his car got scared and it hit the wall and gave some air. There he is, 9th place for him, snatching defeat from the jaws of victory. DJ coming home in 10th. Ridders, poor race comes home in 11th, and Stu Shelton was disconnected from this race from last place relatively early on. But there are the plaudits. There is the applause for Amsterdam, who takes his first win of the season. Congratulations to him. But we're done for yet another week. As I said, I won't be here next week, but thank you very much for joining me. This has been round 7 of the ZFS Championship from Goodwood in the Suzuki Swift. See you in 2 weeks' time here on Black Flag Racing TV. I've been Adam Pirate, and it's been emotional.